need to be told. Join Omobola Sandra and Sage Babalola on the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. as we invoke the thought-provoking discussion, tackle the tough questions, challenge assumption, and give a voice to the unheard. This is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome on board the Morning Express.
Good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Welcome to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Good morning and welcome to Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Time check right now is 7:41 a.m. and it's time for us to look deep into the major stories trending on the front pages of our papers. My name is Omobola Sandra, and I would also have Fuad Sahid join via the phone line to give analysis to the stories that we're going to be looking through this morning. Promises to be an engaging one. Would be having Milan Focus by 8:40, and that's the part where you, our dear listener, you get to be a part of the conversation by sharing your own thoughts and your contribution as regards the two focal points that we're going to be looking through this morning. Today is Friday, the 26th of July, 2024. Thank God it's Friday. So for a lot of us, this is also the last weekend in the month of July. If there are things that you still have to, sort out, visit family, friends, and loved ones, just ensure that you take time out this weekend to do something good, not just for yourself, but also for someone else. And let's be kind to ourselves. I mean, the country is saying quite a lot. The economy is saying quite a lot now. And so it will go a long way if we can show up for each other or for one another. It would actually go a long way. The little that you have, if you can share it with someone else and, be a source of happiness or a source of joy for someone else. And you would also reap your blessing in return. Good morning, Fuad. How are you doing?
Good morning, Sandra. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you very much. And speaking of kindness, I don't know if you've been following this story of the man who had quadruplets, and I think their money is at about 20 million naira now. I don't know if you've been following that story. The colleague of the man just posted to add that my colleague is going through a lot now. He already has 2 children. He said, let me try one more. And, he said, let me try. That one more became 4. They came, 4 kids at once, quadruplets. And he posted it on, Twitter, on X, actually. Especially because, every day on his WhatsApp status, he's lamenting, oh, I need help, this, that. And he said, okay, he posted it on X that people are really going through a lot. Imagine quadruplets in this economy. And Fuad, boy, oh boy, in less than a week, 20 million naira. There's even one of the telco companies that has also come into the decision. I think they dropped about 2 million or so or thereabout. I think Nigerians really show up when it comes to it. I think Nigerians, that's one thing that I think we need to give. I remember the story of the woman that wakes up at 4:30 to cook for her husband as well. So.
I was going to mention that.
Yes.
And now she got a lot of support.
Nigerians
and
really...
I hope she still wakes up at 4 a.m. to do that. Things change very fast when money comes. Which 4 a.m.
Yeah,
but it's a good... Nigerians are good people, actually. I said it yesterday. We are very resilient people. We are good people. We love ourselves. Very happy set of people, really. Like we've always said, Sandra, we really don't want much. Nigerians are people that just give them a little. They are okay. They are satisfied. Very hardworking too, if you understand what I mean. And that's why a lot of Nigerians are condemning this idea of tokenism from the government. This chain of rights and peace. That's not what Nigerians want.
Yes. Just ensure that the environment is fine, and I would
enabling.
I will do what I need
create
to
the
do.
enabling environment, and Nigerians will thrive. You know, the fact that Nigerians can go to the most obscure parts of the world and thrive means that, look, if they stay back home, you create the enabling environment, we'll be fine. And we are very selfless too, and that's what you're seeing with this kind of donation. You know, just by putting something on social media, the reaction has been massive, and it just goes to show that Nigerians are great people, good people. But we're just waiting for the government to, do their own part of the bidding, and the glory days are going to return. That's what we are hoping for.
Thank you very much. Speaking of, glory days, and speaking of the fact that Nigerians are hardworking, just make the environment, enabling enough for them, exactly, for them to do their business. This video that has been circulating as regard Dangote has been saying quite a lot in recent times.
You listen to what he said. Right?
I think, like, in the past 1 month, it's just been one basketball or the other. But if you look at it, really, what he said in that video, saying that he doesn't think God will want to punish an entrepreneur from Nigeria twice by sending the person.
Nigerian entrepreneur, yes. That they'll just say, you just go to paradise. You are not supposed to suffer twice.
You have suffered enough.
As a Nigerian entrepreneur, and whether we like it or not, that's a very telling statement coming from, number one, the most successful entrepreneur in Nigeria. And the richest black man query on your side. You suffered enough. And honestly, it says a whole lot about the business environment in Nigeria and the struggles entrepreneurs are going through at this time.
Thank you very much. It just says quite a lot. And it also says a lot as regards what Dangote may or may not have been going through before even this oil refinery conversation. I mean, he may have been, putting up a front as regards, I'm doing my business, is all good and all of that, but he had to take the refinery coming up for him to actually speak out as regards, what businesses are going through in the country. Well, as regards what businesses are going through in the country, there's also, Portable, very controversial Portable, who has also lent his voice as regards the protest, that's supposed to start August 1st. I don't know if you saw that. I said, Portable saying Nigeria is okay, that you are the one that is not hustling. So if you are one of the protesters, that means you're not hustling enough. And that's still on as regards, maybe there are some people that, whether the environment is enabling or not, there are some people that are just going to be lacking.
Well, Portable, I missed that because I hardly pay attention to what he says. Because a lot of times he just mumbles up things, and it's so very uncoordinated in some of the things he says. Some of them probably comes out of influence of one or two substances. So I'm not one of those people that really pay attention to the things he says. But he's from the street. He struggled through life, and somehow God has shown him mercy. How he came up from a nobody really to becoming one of the superstars of the Nigerian.
I don't know if it's the superstar, exactly. Whatever it is,
he's a star. If he's listening, he will fight you. He said he's a superstar. He's a mega superstar.
All right.
So let's just take that as what whether you like it or not. He's also an influential figure in Nigeria. Whether the kind of influence is subject to debate, but at least he's one of those Nigerians that will speak. You're already talking about him, so that's to tell you that no, he's not one that you just want to push aside. But again, I'm not going to really want to waste more time on whatever he says. Like I said, if there's someone that makes a lot of statements and you are not sure that that statement is not coming from influence or taking one or two things, I think we'll probably not just waste our time on it. If he thinks that some people are not struggling enough, that's his own problem. But what we are just saying here is that, look, Nigerians are hardworking, Nigerians are selfless, Nigerians are people that just want that little from government and they'll be fine. The government should do their own part of the bidding.
The government should do their own part of the bidding. And speaking of someone who is a part of this government, or that has one way or the other shown some sort of, or disappointed quite a lot of people. Well, not me. I'm not a member of his constituency. But then Ajibola Bashiru was on a televised interview. Was on a televised interview, and I don't know what was going on there. For a very simple question: what is the present inflation rate? If the MBS data, that's the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, has its own data, and the simple question from the anchor of that program: what is the present inflation rate if you don't agree with the MBS data? And all Senator Ajibola Bashiru could say is, I don't agree with you on the data, but what I only know is that there are inflationary challenges, and I don't agree with the figures you have quoted. Okay, so what's the figure that you have as a member, of the lawmaking body?
I've always told a number of people, and incidentally, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, who is the current secretary of the APC, is someone we know very well. A very brilliant mind, honest.
A lawyer as well.
A lawyer, a senior advocate of Nigeria.
Yes, a lawyer.
Not just a lawyer.
Not just a lawyer.
And it's not. And I have a lot of friends who are very, very close to him. When I say close, like people from his constituency, right there in Osun State, Oshogbo precisely. There are people that are very, very close to him. And I've listened to him speak severally. But again, sometimes, Sandra, silence can be golden. You don't have to be on TV if you're going to have to struggle to defend whatever position you're trying to come up. The anchor, Sheung, basically asked a very simple question, and it was around this issue of protest or no protest, hardship in the land. And the question was like, look, whatever you say as to the efforts of government, you have to begin to gauge it against the inflationary figures. And he quoted the figure from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, which is an institution that is funded by the government. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Even though there are people who are even saying that, look, whatever the MBS figures are being managed. I think it was the LTCI recently that said that, look, inflation figures are around 90%. And that's the private sector talking. Only for the senator to say he doesn't believe in those data. Okay, come up with your own data. I say you don't know that they are challenging.
You don't know.
A big embarrassment, really. And that's why I feel that, look, in practical public relations standards, sometimes you just keep quiet.
Better.
If you have nothing to say, it's difficult for people to quote silence. Because you have not said anything, really. They can't quote or misquote silence. But when you go out there, and you begin to, I felt embarrassed for him, really. But I understand how difficult it is, really, to begin to defend the government at this time, especially on the issue of hardship in the land. It's a very difficult job to do. That's why you see that they come up with all manner of conspiracy theories, misinformation, disinformation. Somebody like Daniel Bwala is telling you that there are foreign agents who are behind the hardship protest, blah, 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 and he thinks it's all political. So it's tough, really. It's a very tough and difficult job to defend the government at this.
As thank you for bringing up Daniel Bwala's statement, because there's a tweet that came up from Daniel Bwala some 3 years.
We try to defend the government.
As regards people who try to defend, when you everything is working fine, but the moment you just join APC, everything goes off. But that was Daniel Bwala too. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's Daniel Bwala, sometime in 2022.
A particular Daniel Bwala that said that, look, your brain is a very unique one. It works very well. It's so blah blah blah.
Optimal. But the moment
anybody that joins the APC, the brain stops working. Yeah, and that's the man that is now in the.
He's now in the.
At least official and unofficial. So we can as well just conclude that his own brain stops working.
It's all right. Thank you very much, Said Fuad. Well, those are just on the sidelines. You're listening to Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. Let's now go into the major stories that we have for the day. I'll start with the Punch newspaper, and you are listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The major headline on the front page of the Punch: Tinubu rallies NSA monarchs as hunger protest looms. And there are riders to that says President meets APC governors, Oni Sultan, clerics as planned protest gains momentum. Opposition charges Tinubu to address Nigerians, army, DSS alleged plot to force regime change. This story is on page 2. Oh no, I think I'll stop. Please don't go. Okay, is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. So in preparation or in anticipation or in whatever it is that is being done as regards whatever is going to happen on the 1st of August, there's been a lot that we've been seeing. There's been meetings on meetings on meetings upon meetings. Some 2 days or so ago, the president met with his entire cabinet, with all the APC governors, with everyone that has to do with anything that has to do with this administration, the ministers, special advice, everybody, as regards what is the way forward out of this protest and all of that. And now More recently, which was yesterday, same meeting actually, where the APC governors, prominent traditional rulers, Islamic religious scholars had a meeting with the president yesterday as part of efforts by the government to ensure that the planned protest is averted. And what we have now is the president first met with the APC governors under the aegis of Progressive Governors Forum at the presidential villa at about 1 p.m. and that lasted for about an hour and 15 minutes. And then he met, he had met with the Nigeria governors from that's all the governors now on Wednesday night. Also, Ƴᴏᴜᴜ, Minister of Finance, there in attendance, trying to see what possibility of the protest being hijacked by hoodlums. They said, and I quote, "It's very difficult to build, but it's easy to destroy. We are all stakeholders in this country and are stronger as a nation than individually." That is coming from Ooni of Ife, Obade Enitogusi, who co-chairs the National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria. And we also have here, we should talk to ourselves. We need to know that today it's completely different spin. The government, ably led by the president, is willing to engage and dialogue and bring governance very close to the people. So in all of this, all of this energy, some people have said that all of this energy that the president and the presidency is putting into averting this nationwide process, that if only all of this energy was done into doing the right thing, people won't need to even think about protest in the first instance. There's a long list of the things that have brought about the need for this protest. There's a long list. Today is Friday, so we're also going to be having Yeli Sowore in the Situation Room by 4 p.m. who has been a vocal person as regards support of this particular protest. There's a long list, yes, of reasons why people are going to the protest. I can't read the list because it's almost 40 something. All right, but if only, do you think that if only all this pent up energy that the president and the presidency has been putting into ensuring that this protest does not hold, if only it's been diverted into doing the right things, putting the right policies in place, not sharing of rice, not the student loan scheme, not the 70,000 naira minimum wage, not the 420 billion naira that was shared to state governors, not all of that, but policies, ensuring that the right policies are in, fiscal policies are in place to enable Nigerians, the average Nigerian, to thrive. We won't have conversation on protest at all.
Well, I actually think that if half of that energy, not even that energy,
half, okay,
just half, or even a quarter of what has been done so far by the government, at all levels now, to somewhat, stop this protest from happening. If half of that energy has been committed into doing the right thing, because again, we've talked about progression, because really in life, there are sometimes you think you are making progress, but you're actually progressing in error. So it's always very important that we also situate the issues properly. Because again, you had the president saying, "Oh, there was no other way. This was the only thing we could have done. We need to take this hard decision," and what have you. Again, that is subject to a lot of debate. But look, the reality is that Nigerians are frustrated. Nigerians are tired. They've been inundated year after year, decades after decades of failed promises from government. Yes, I agree that the problem of today did not start from today. But there are things that are aggravated it to the point where Nigerians are now saying, "Look, we can't take this anymore." And there's always a time where Nigerians are going to say, "Look, all of this has to stop." Look, the average Nigerian, Sandra, has become his own government. Sandra, as an average Nigerian, you are your own government. There's no public water, you have to provide your own water. The public schools, I'm sorry, it has to be almost at the highest level of poverty for you to want to take your child now to a public primary school, a public secondary school. The public just don't exist really, if you understand what I'm saying. So you have to find money, struggle through life, pay through your nose to get your child quality education in Nigeria at this time. Because at the level of government, it's non-existent really, if you understand what I'm saying. That's why some of them even cannot even send their child to those schools. They know what it is. When it comes to healthcare, Sandra, you also have to pay through your nose. Even in government facilities, you know what you have to go through really to take care of yourself when it comes to healthcare. Security is either you are using one aboki at the entrance of your gate, or you have several gates before you get to your own gate, and then your door also has a gate. And then you have OPC also guarding everywhere, because when it comes to security too, the government cannot secure every Nigerian. Food prices have gone through. So look, it's a long list so that we don't waste too much time on this. But what we are saying is that, look, what is supposed to be the first job of government? Security of lives and property, which the government currently and in the past have been failing in. The second one is, look, you have to better the lives of the people. They have to see your policies translating into better lives for them. Not just about mere statements and, we've always had these promises. We are going to do. Things are going to get better, blah, blah, blah. But what the average Nigerians see on a daily basis is their life getting worse off for it. They keep going below the poverty line. Things are getting worse for them. But on the other side of the people they vote for to go into government to better their lives, they see that those ones live larger their life. They get better. They are buying more houses. They are buying more cars. Some of them are even marrying more wives. You understand? And they don't even hide it. That's the funny thing. They don't even hide it. They go on public display of this recklessness and affluence. Whereas the average Nigerian is suffering. Look at the other former senator in Kogi State that wakes up every day to show the average Nigerian the fleet of cars in his compound.
And not
he doesn't care.
They are $10,000 at one car. Yes.
And he has several. He keeps it in his compound, and he shows off. This is a man that graduated from school that some of our friends graduated with, that does not have any known job anywhere other than being in politics. Look at the other man from Plateau State now. He's one honorable now. The child just finished secondary school, a 16-year-old daughter, or maybe 17-year maximum. And look at.
They say it's money now. You should not say anything.
I know. I'm just saying that. Look. One of the hallmark of being intelligent is reading the room, looking at your environment, and feeling the pulse of the people. Emotional intelligence. You must be aware. Social intelligence. Yes. Is this the right time to begin to do this? Even if you are going to dash, if you are going to even give your daughter that kind of expensive car, can't you just be a bit decorous about it? Can't you just be a private affair? Why must you put that on social media when you know that generality of the people at this time are suffering? That's what we are talking about when we say that, look, they don't care. They are not even intelligent. They don't even care. They don't give a damn about anybody. You can say whatever you want to say. So what we are saying is that, look, now that there's a lot of effort, concerted effort, traditional rulers, everybody is on the edge.
Speaking of traditional rulers, I just need to quickly read this out from the Oluwo of Iwo, Oba Abdulrasheed Akombi. His statement, that was signed by his press secretary, urging the president to meet. Yes, he said, and I quote, "At this crucial moment of global economic challenge, Nigeria inclusive, I call on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to convey a national dialogue, most especially with the dog handlers, comprising the opposition party leaders, civil society organizations, labor leaders, students, traditional rulers, and religious leaders. Even if a protest is held, we will resort to a roundtable discussion after the roadshow, rather than allowing hoodlums to hijack and destroy the nations we are trying to construct. Why not embrace dialogue?" So I'm wondering, away from the dog handlers statement, but I'm wondering, as regards dialogue or no dialogue, had people not been talking enough? Had people not been complaining enough? Is it that people have not been raising their voices enough on the hardship that they are going through?
You see, all of this dialogue is just merely scratching the surface. We are just reflecting on the real issue. The government should sit and do the hard work. Do the hard work of fixing real issues that will begin to bring prosperity back to the people. We've been having dialogue, we've been talking, and yes, have been talking. That's also a form of dialogue. You understand? I've seen people say, the president should address the nation. Nigerians are tired of addressing. The presidents have been talking to Nigerians, so it's not the address that matters now. They want to begin to see actionable plans of the government, policy of the government with clear timelines that will begin to assuage and begin to reduce the poverty in the land. Because, like I said, while Nigerians have been inundated with all manner of promises, sweet statements, beautiful policies, paperwork, the reality of the average Nigerian is that, look, they are getting poorer. And I say the average Nigerian now, not the politically exposed ones, not their friends and colleagues, not their business associates. Those are not the ones. And you know the funny thing, the people that are demonizing the protest at this time are mostly the politicians, their friends, cronies, and this group of people who are not in the reality of the poor Nigerians. And the shocking thing, Sandra, and we have to be careful, really. The precedents we are laying is that how do you begin to demonize protest in a democracy, Sandra? How did you get to the point where it has suddenly become a problem for people to protest in a democracy? Whereas protest in itself is one of the instruments of a democratic nation. The people have a right to protest, and that's why it's even one of the rights that is guaranteed in the Nigerian Constitution as a democratic state. But suddenly, people that came in through several protests, that then themselves organized protests, are suddenly seen protests as something that should never happen. It will be hijacked. And that's why we're saying that, look, we have the security operatives. And all of that should do their job.
Well, speaking of security operatives, Fuad, we also have the army saying something here. The Nigerian Army and even the Department of State Services, that's DSS, have released, I've said they have uncovered plans, that there are plans to hijack the protest. The defense headquarters thus called on organizers to sheath their swords. That's the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Buba Edward, urging organizers to embrace dialogue, because accordingly the protesters are urged to sheath their sword up, so we must quench the fire of violence. Said that there are plans by some unscrupulous elements to hijack the protest and make sure that it turns violent. I want to tell you what we've seen. It will likely happen. That's what they are saying. For instance, there are signs of status-related violence, so that persons with things as basic as smartphones and cars are targets. This does not leave out those who own shops and own, cars and all of that. So it is better to sheath your sword and all. But what about, rising up, the internal security forces now, rising up to ensure that this does, since you have intelligence that there are plans to hijack the protest.
Move ahead of the anarchy. The people that want to foment trouble.
Be proactive. Yeah.
If you have this intelligence, you can begin to identify these persons. You can begin again, Sandra. You know why there's a room for all of these statements from the security? I was listening to the public relations person of the Nigerian Army too. He was probably just even telling them, don't even think about it. It's coming to me more like a threat. Don't do it, don't even dare it. Again, Sandra, and for every time these statements are made, is the ⴄSARS protest that they mention. Oh, look at what happened in ⴄSARS. They are not even recovered from it. Things were burnt. I said it, Sandra, and I will repeat it again this morning. The ⴄSARS protest started very well. But I think whatever happened at the end of the ⴄSARS protest, the protesters have their own share of the blame, and also the government. If you understand what I'm saying. And I would have thought that, look, whatever happened during ⴄSARS, we should ask ourselves whether we learned any lessons. Because I said it that, look, at the point where the protesters started blocking roads that crossed the red line, you can't use your own right to disturb my own right. And that's what I'm saying again, that whoever wants to protest on August 1st, whether the protest happens or not, for those that will be willing to protest, they must also show respect for the rights of other people, other Nigerians who may not be interested in protest. You can't force everybody to protest, and you can don't use your own protest to disturb other people's rights. So when you go about blocking roads, destroying people's property, then you have crossed the line. And I'm saying that the police authorities should treat people like that as common criminals. You can't disturb other people. Look, Benjamin Netanyahu is in the US, Sandra, and protests are going on.
All right.
Those that cross the line, the police authorities deal with them.
Thank you very much, Fuad.
On a daily basis, you have people protest. What I'm just saying is that, Sandra, the reason why there's enough time for the government to begin to issue this statement, rally traditional rulers, rally politicians, all manner of groups have come out now, Sandra. I'm seeing different names of groups of people making statements. All of these people are just, they just position themselves for patronage. This thing.
Thank you very much.
But 1 minute, just 1 minute, Sandra. But just imagine a protest that starts without any announcement. Is that not possible?
Is that not how the Kenyan protest started?
Is that not how the Arab Spring started?
Yes.
So that's why we are telling the government that whether this protest happens or not, most likely it will not happen the way it's going. But can the government please start to practically address the concerns of these protesters so that we will not get to the point where a protest will just happen without them having opportunity to do all of these things they are doing now. Because those types of protests can happen. It just sparks out and it starts.
Thank you very much, Said Fuad. Well, 10 minutes past 8, and you're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. This is Trends in the Papers, and we just look through the major headline on the front page of the Punch. Unfortunately, we don't have so much time left, so I'll just scan through the rest of the stories on the Punch newspaper. We also have here, factional kingmakers oppose fresh Aláàfin selection process, and that's 2 years after that conversation still goes on.
I thought that these things are going to be very fast. My mind was that
I'm surprised. Well, I'm totally surprised. I thought these things are supposed to be super easy.
People are not listening to you fire again.
What's going on? You have the Oyomis is saying one thing. You have the.
Which Oyomis?
I know. I don't know the kingmakers.
Everything.
They're the ones that
they move everything. They move everything to the government house. Even the Ifa you come and do it in the government house, the governor will be sitting down there looking at, what is the Ifa saying?
Oh my God.
Read it again.
That's all right. Well, the story is on page 42 of the Punch newspaper. I think I'll give more, details as regards the delay.
Well, it's 2 years.
In the Aláàfin selection process. That's on page 42 of the Punch newspaper. We also have here, Lagos has begun a probe as 5 have been killed in a building collapse that happened here in Lagos, and that's
so, yeah.
From pages 4 and 5. It's quite unfortunate. On the student loan conversation, 16 more state-owned schools have gotten student loan approval. That is on page 43. So you may want to get more details on that if your school is finally there, so you can get access. The people who have been approved, I don't know if they've received. I don't know someone who has been disbursed. I don't know if anybody has gotten disbursement.
We're told there have been disbursement, but I've been trying to reach out.
I've been trying
to students of federal universities where anybody has got it.
Because I know a few of them who actually applied. Federal universities. Yes, I know a few of them, and I asked.
If you have any of them listening to us who have got disbursement, they can
please send a message to us. Thank you. Yes, we'd really appreciate that. Thank you. Now,
not that you know somebody.
No.
Don't come and tell us that I know somebody.
And you must show us the alert. And you must.
No, that
you show the alert.
No, I think they said probably will be paying to the school, really.
No, okay. No. Even if they're not paying to the student directly, there's an approval.
Well, let's see the evidence of this.
Now there'll be a disbursement, receipt or an email or something, a text message that will say, okay, this has been paid to you. I mean, there's something you take to the bursary now that will show that my student loan has been approved. You understand? So that's what we're asking for. Above the masthead of the Punch newspaper, this very, very unfortunate news that poured in yesterday is the demise of the the president. Is it president now? Or the leader now?
Yes, the president general, yeah.
The president general of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, Iwayaun. Yes, Chief Iwayaun, who has passed on. That is on page 17 of the Punch newspaper. Yes. I
know he's surprised. One thing about death, it comes when it comes. He's been around for, all through the last political, the last electoral process. He was very vocal. He's also been very vocal about Nnamdi Kanu's release, insecurity in the southeast, and, but again, life.
Yes.
Death comes, there's nothing. But a very successful businessman. Almost like
very, very successful.
You can even put him in the stature of maybe the late Ǹkwá Abíọ́lá of the Igbo land. So he's been very successful with his businesses, media entrepreneur. I think there was a time he had an airline. Very successful business entrepreneur, and then somebody that has promoted the social cultural heritage of Igbo people. He's been very good at really pushing the cause of development in the southeast.
Yes,
we commensurate with his family.
Thank you very much for that accolade, and it definitely deserves it. From shipping companies to insurance companies to even a print company, a newspaper, National Post,
Champion newspaper,
and airlines, Oriental Airlines, and also even the popular Paradise City Hotel that's in Calabar. So this is an accomplished businessman and also a notable politician. He's so rest in peace. More details on page 17. Also on the front page of the Punch, Tinubu may sign 70,000 naira minimum wage bill next week. That's on page 34 of the Punch. And finally, probe. National Assembly summons NNPC and Dangote over $10 billion oil theft. and that is on page 33. You know, on this Dangote oil theft, I don't know if you've seen that story, that about $2.3 billion of oil that we've imported came from Malta.
Yeah, the blending country.
The blending country.
The country of blenders.
So there's an atom of truth. There's just something. There's something there. Maybe it may not be like maybe it may not be a staff of NNPC. Maybe, but somebody's blending something in Malta. That's what's going on. Yes.
Now, you and I would agree to the fact that, look, at the level of Alhaji Aliko Dangote, he would not be reckless with his statement.
True.
Yes, I think he's currently bitter, he's annoyed, and so maybe he might be a bit exaggerating with his statement. But look, there can't be smoke without fire. Alhaji Aliko Dangote would not issue such a statement. Look, this is a man that is the most successful entrepreneur in Nigeria, the richest black man in the world. In fact, for years, South Africa held that position. The richest African was for a South African until recently. And all of this is coming now when he had invested about $20 billion to build the largest refinery in Africa. And so if such a man tells you something, you have to pay attention, Sandra. And so when he said that, look, he has it in good authority that officials of the NNPC and their cronies who have blending plants in Malta, suddenly we are being told now that the larger chunk of our imported petroleum products have come from Malta. So you can see that completed now.
No, number one, I do not even know the end of that. I'm just going to do that.
Completed.
I don't even know the end. What are you doing to me for what?
Okay, it's fine. Let's move on.
It's 17 minutes past 8. Why are you embarrassing me as a true child of Ogun State from Yewa North local government? It's okay. 17 minutes past 8, and you're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. Now, we're moving on now to the Guardian newspaper and the major headline there, which has also been, a conversation that I've also always liked to, talk about. These development commissions that we always have. Recently, there was the disbursement of some funds to Northwest Development Commission. And then we have the Niger Delta one, which is the most popular one, the Niger Delta Development Commission. So what we have as the big story on the front page of the Guardian is region citizens are languishing amid proliferation of political SPVs. The story is on pages 4 and 5, and what it says is that designed as a special purpose vehicle to ramp up development of the Niger Delta region that is defaced and devalued by oil exploitation activities, the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, signposts how not to develop a region. Its cousin in the north, the Northeast Development Commission, is also in the throes of underperformance. Both commissions allegedly violate procurement laws. They are neck deep in the heels of inflating contracts. They award non-existent contracts. They even there's also proficient. They're also proficient in contract splitting. So given this ugly precedence, the lack of commensurate value for money spent and the attendant massive infrastructure deficit, the President Bola Tinubu's assent to bills establishing the Northwest Development Commission and the Southeast Development Commission leaves a sour taste in the mouth rather than elicit cheers. So I just mentioned just recently now, there was the bill, the establishment of the Northwest and the Southeast. But what have we gotten from the Niger Delta Development Commission? What have we gotten from the Northeast Development Commission? There's someone here, a resident of Udoada, Ahoada West Local Council of Rivers State, who said that there's untold hardship, and that falls under the, the Niger Delta Development Commission, as that there's the Biama or Karki Udoada road that has been abandoned by the NDDC. It's a 25-kilometer road. It was awarded to an interventionist agency in 2004 and is yet to be completed 20 years after. So with, the unfortunate results that we've gotten from, the preceding development agencies, what exactly can we expect from these newly established ones?
Nothing, Sandra. For now, nothing. And I'll tell you why. The directors, the operatives of these agencies are also friends of our politicians. In fact, what they do basically is to appoint people who are their friends and cronies. People that are appointed. For example, I think even the NDDC, the recent appointments, were majorly done.
There was controversy on that.
A lot of them were even wicked people.
There's a lot of
so when you use sensitive positions like that of agencies, commissions, parastatals as a bait for political patronage, like, oh, thank you for working for the party, and you put corrupt people, incompetent people to escort, what are you going to get? That's why the Guardian is reporting that, look, when it comes to procurement fraud, check out some of these institutions. You remember Professor Ponde, the one that fainted, off your mic. You know, it's only DC probe. So again, our politicians are very smart. They will fight for these things. Oh, we need this thing to develop our region. Oh, we are being cheated. Whereas when the thing eventually comes, they hijack it. It becomes a tool of political patronage and massive corruption. At the end of the day, okay, look at the Niger Delta, for example, Sandra. Apart from the NDDC, there is the Ministry of Niger Delta. Then you have the 13%, Sandra, that goes to the state. Apart from some other specs that comes to those, what has happened in that region? Basically, what has happened? Yes, I'm with you.
A forensic audit report that was released in 2020 revealed that NDDC received over 6 trillion naira between 2001 and 2019, and there's been about 13,000 abandoned projects, most of which
6 trillion naira.
The contracts were fully paid for. Some of them partially paid, but most of them, the contracts were fully paid for.
Inflated projects too, white elephant projects, some of them ridiculous figures. Violation of the Procurement Act and what have you. Yet those projects are abandoned. Can the people of Niger Delta come and say that, look, this 6 trillion naira, there are things on ground to show that indeed within that period of 3 to 4 years, they can say that, look, there are projects, or there are things on ground to show that 6 trillion naira went into that commission. Apart from the money that are going to the governors.
Yeah, but why does NDDC have 362 bank accounts? What's going on?
So that the thing can spread now, Sandra. So that the thing can go carry.
Well, anyways, now, so people, the report is looking at it from the angle of these two new commissions now, the Northwest and the Southeast Development Commission.
It will change nothing, Sandra, because the politicians are going to take it over.
Because
they've taken others over.
Presidential spokesman Jᴏɪṛ Ngolale said that it's for development across geopolitical zones in the country. But is it really for politics or for development?
It is for the development of the pockets of the politicians that will eventually hijack it. People that are going to be appointed, that will find themselves controlling those commissions, are still going to be the politicians, their friends, their colleagues, their party members.
So which begs the question, Fuad,
Sandra, why do you think people are appointed in Nigeria and people are celebrating? Or appointed.
People pay for an entire page to congratulate their daughter. To
congratulate somebody to go and do a job to better the lives of the people. The man should even be sweating that this job they're giving to me will be begging God that God let me deliver on it too. Yes, because they know that at the end of the day, it's all about.
I'm just asking this question, Fuad. It's very simple. Is it that we should go work with the belief that every zone must have its own development commission? Because Southwest too clamoring for.
Yeah, we're demanding, and we should have it too. Everybody must have it.
So if this,
I'm sure the North Central too wants it too. In fact, the North Central deserves it because of the years of other farmer crashes, the problem that they also need it. But at the end of the day, these things will not translate into real development for the people. The structure we have now, if we have visionary, selfless leaders, can actually develop Nigeria. It's not. You see, these things, like I said, it's not that when we demand for more states, all of these things that we talk about, more local government. Basically, what we are doing is creating more opportunities for our politicians to have easy access to national treasury. It's not going to change. That's why we need to ask ourselves what has happened with the Northeast Development Commission. The IDP camps are still there. There's no real and tangible development in the Northeast, despite the commissioner existing. Look at the Niger Delta Development Commission. People like Gege Joshua will now tell you that, look, the biggest thing or the best thing that will ever happen to Niger Delta is Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. And they don't even care if they sell Abuja to do the road. It's because they have not really seen anything. In terms of real development, despite all of the commission, the 13% derivative that comes there, the huge amount. Look, the governors of the state, what have they been doing with the resources of their people? So I'm not impressed. In fact, let them create all these commissions, like we've always said, until we get leaders that are committed to nation building. Nothing is going to change.
Well, look, we have, I can't remember how many. Okay, we have quite a lot of ministries, departments, and agencies. We have 36 states, and then we also have all of these interventionist agencies. And here we are as a country.
They're waiting for themselves.
SPVs, said, yeah, special purpose vehicles.
For corruption. Simple.
That's what that's how the Guardian puts it. Well, the story is on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. You can get all of the figures there, how much has been disbursed so far. And, the interesting, what caught my eye for it is the fact that there are 13,000 abandoned projects, most of which have been fully paid for. And
record show that they've been paid for.
They've been fully paid for. And they are nothing's happening there.
And by the time you check the value of those projects, a lot of them inflated. It's terrible figures.
We also have here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, very quickly now, TUC insists on May 1, 2024 date for new minimum wage. So that means, backward payments of about
government is doing them.
Arrears of about 2 months. About 2 months. Yes, so that's
supposed to end in April.
And so they're insisting on that. Yes. So the story is on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. We also have here planned protest. Military warns against violence as DSS reveals plot to cause chaos. That is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. I also have here on the front page of the Guardian, Nigeria's petrol import from Malta surges by 342% to about $2.08 billion. That story is on page 3. Amidst all of what is going on, we are still, the import from Malta has increased. That's the irony of everything, eh? So amidst between what's going on between Dangote and regulators as regards, availability of crude for Dangote to be able to produce refined products, we have here the fact that import from Malta has surged by 43-fold and has increased by 342%. And this is coming days after Dangote alleged that officials of NNPCL own blending plants in Malta. The more details of that on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. And that's all we can take from the Guardian. We still have a few minutes to go, and you're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. This is Trends in the Papers. I have Fuad Sahid with me via the phone line. And the major headline on the front page of Vanguard: protests. No government will condone destruction of lives and property. And that's coming from President Tinubu himself. And we have riders on that. Meets APC governors and monarchs in Aso Rock. Don't allow it to be hijacked, Oni tells organizers. We'll listen to the youths, Dane of Agbo. Listen to words of wisdom from government, Emir of Zazao. DSS identifies sponsors, warns against action.
If there is someone that people that want to cause trouble, if they have evidence that those people are planning to come and cause trouble, if you have information, I would have thought that the DSS is supposed to operate as a secret service, but less of talking, more of action, right?
Yes.
And so if the DSS has now become the talking agency, it becomes a problem. If they have this information, quietly, in secret, discreet manner, move ahead of these people. If you have evidence that maybe they want to cause crisis and you have real evidence against them, round them up and allow those that want to go out and protest peacefully do that. So, but when you now see the DSS also making statements, the things that are supposed to be done discreetly and in secret manner to take care of those issues, then you know that there's a problem somewhere.
All right. Still on riders on that particular story, we have here FCT unavailable for August 1 protest, and that's coming from Wike.
The landlord of
FCT minister. We also have TUC saying we are not part of August 1 protest. That's Trade Union Congress, a part of organized labor. And we also have here shelf planned protest for the sake of economy. Ojikalu tells youths the protest is because of the economy. That's quite an irony there. But the story is on page 5 of Vanguard newspaper.
We've said what we need to say. All of this
protest
effort,
conversation.
They should please just use half of it to address the issues of the people and solve the problem of hunger and poverty in the land. We will not be talking about all these. Look at Wike saying Abuja is not available. So what happens to the rights of people in Abuja who may want to go out to protest peacefully? And the man is telling him that, so what's he going to do? Is he going to kill them if they decide to protest, which is part of their right? That's why we're asking ourselves, is it not shocking that these are statements? I was watching TV yesterday, Sandra, all through the evening, and statement after statement, I kept asking myself, are we truly practicing democracy, or we have changed the system of government to something else? Because if you now begin to see people issuing threats against democracy, against threats, they protest in a democracy, and there's a problem, Sandra.
Well, finally, off the front page of Vanguard, I thought to put this out there as well. Just above the masthead, there's a story on the Nollywood actor and producer who was complicit in the kidnapping story that happened at Ladipo. Yes, the billionaire, they call him the billionaire kidnapper. So, untold story of Henry Odenigbo's exploits as Nollywood actor and producer. That is on page 7 of Vanguard newspaper. We'll take a very short break now, and we're back by 8:40 for Mainland Focus, where our dear listener gets to be a part of the conversation. This is Mainland 98.3 FM. Please stay tuned.